Now, if we look at this handstand balance and this handstand balance, you can see they're quite different in terms of how we're balancing and how much energy is being used. This one is using more strength, and this one is just using more positioning. It's nicely stacked, but if in a lot of ways, this one's more fragile and this one has way more room for error. And I personally believe you should be able to do both of these. Now, to maintain balance and control in either the strength version or the balanced version, there are definitely some similarities. We want to get as much of the base doing the balancing, so using the fingers, a little bit of the shoulders, and the focal point where we're looking to be controlling the handstand. We want the body to act as much like one piece, one segment as we can. The last thing that we want to have is multiple different movements happen at multiple different joints and limbs across the body. Even if they're all trying to help with the balance, it's going to be more like a dance. It's going to be much harder to control. So the more we can hold it as one piece, the easier it's going to be. Now you can mimic this on your feet as well to understand the concepts. So if I put everything together, so if I bring the feet together, if I stand up nice and straight, squeeze the abs, squeeze the glutes to make a connection from the legs to the torso, put my arms by my side, bring the shoulders back and down, open the chest, hold that position there. So as you can see, I'm hardly moving in this position. I'm nicely stacked and my body's acting as one piece. I can make little adjustments forwards and backwards, mainly just using the feet. So that would be the balanced version. Now the strength version is going to be a little bit more like this, feet around shoulder width apart, soft knees, and a little bit more zigzag position in terms of knees bent, hips back, chest open, and more of a relaxed position. Now I have a little bit more movement that I can add in. I can use the knees, I can use the hips a little bit, and I'm way more stable, but I'm using more muscle. And we can actually separate that apart a little bit and look at the straight arm strength and the bent arm strength to control the handstand. So what does that mean? So if I go into a handstand in this position, I've got a certain amount of movement that I can go towards under balance, so feet down towards that direction, shoulders forwards, so my arms are staying straight, I'm just pivoting at the shoulders, and then I can come back to my handstand. I have the same going in the opposite direction, harder to see, but now the shoulders are coming through and the feet are going over. So that's my straight arm controlled strength. Then I have the same, but if I add the elbow bend. So now I'm going towards under balance with the feet, elbows are bending, shoulders have come forwards. And then I can do the same this way and it looks like so. So we can really look at that and train that separately. Straight arm strength, bent arm strength. And the cool thing with that is it goes hand in hand with our main strength goals when it comes to handstands. So straight arm strength being press handstand variations. And then the bent arm strength handstand movement, the main one being the handstand push up. So coming down, head touching the floor, and then back up to our handstand. So if you're training towards those skills, the press and the handstand push up, then you're actually going to be increasing your strength. You're actually going to be increasing your ability to rebalance using the strength. The main two ways of teaching handstands is using back to wall and chest to wall drills. And there's a few different variations, and I'm going to go through them quickly now and show you which ones are more strength specific and which ones are more balance or stacking specific. So we have the standard heel pull, the back to wall one, where we kick up, we align the body, make it nice and tall, push up and then through the fingers till the heels come off, hold for a few seconds and go back to the wall. Now that one's more of the stacking, more of the subtle balance. It tends to have a smaller range of motion and isn't so much about strength. We turn that around and do the chest to wall version. And now I'm going to use my shoulders to come forwards, to slide the toes down, control the underbalance, and then lift up. Now when we look at this one, you can see that's more strength based, especially when we make the movement big like so. Now I can do similar movements back to wall. I can create a bigger space now between the wall and my hands, and look, I can control and pull myself on and off the wall using the shoulders, using a little bit of elbow bend, and now I'm learning to control with strength, but back to wall. I could go back to wall closer and go into cleaner positions and practice slow controlled pulls from the wall in straddle, the same in tuck.
And now the movement is way more subtle.
So you can specifically target either the straight arm strength, the bent arm strength, the stacking, the fine motor control like small movement, the fine rebalancing. But ideally what's going to start to happen, especially when all of these become more subconscious, is your body's just going to pick the best one for the moment. Because we don't want to be holding a handstand where we're holding in this position for lots of time, because this is going to start to get really hard. I need to be holding here if I want to hold for a long period of time, but at the same effect, I don't want to be holding here if I'm falling. I need to be able to react and rebalance using some strength. If I'm going up to handstand and I want to make my consistency of kick up, jump, press very high, so I'm having success every time when I kick into handstand, the more options I have to rebalance, find my balance window, then I find my efficient position, and then when I start to fall out of it, I know how to rebalance just enough with the right type of rebalance so that I can react in the moment, find control and come back out again is super important. So the risk is if we limit ourselves to only certain styles of balance, certain style of drills, we'll have a very one-sided handstand. So we might have something that looks beautiful when we enter and hold, but I can only catch 1 out of 10 times. The other ones look like this or like this because I don't have enough catch or window of balance that I do when I'm using strength. I can kick and catch here, but I can also push up and show control in this position. But if I don't have this balanced stacked position and I only hang out here, my hold times are going to be really short because I'm going to use up lots of energy. Or if I want to try and add a handstand push-up or a press on top of that muscled balance, I'm not going to have much energy to use because it's all being used up on the rebalance. Ideally, we want to have the finesse and the nice efficient balance that we can add strength on top of. And that way we can do multiple presses, multiple handstand push-ups like this. Now the same applies when we want to kick up onto a higher surface. So say I want to do my one-arm handstand training and I'm going to use these handstand canes or go up onto a box or something similar. I really want to use strength to go up into the handstand, not over. So notice here how I go up into the handstand. I'm going to go up like this. I've caught in my strength position. Now I'm going to push up straight into a stacked position that's more efficient. But to get up, I use that strength to take me upwards, not over, not backwards. And that gives me a very consistent catch. Then once I'm up there, I want to find that efficient position so I can add on whatever skill I'm going to do. If it's a one-arm handstand, I need to find that finesse and that balance to show control and hold. But I need the rebalance to catch in a stronger strength position as and when's needed. Now another common error is to think the perfect straight line position is efficient and is the best position to do to use the least amount of strength. And that can be true if your body position or your body's mobility allows the position. If you look like this when you try and put your hands above your head, and to get into this position you have to use so much energy, trying to do that in a handstand and push up into a clean line might use so much energy that it might look okay, but it's actually using way more strength to the point where it spits you out to the front or the back and you actually can't balance the handstand. So your straight efficient line might not be like an arrow, and for most people it won't be. It'll have a little bit of banana to it, so your shoulders will be slightly forwards and your body position might be more like that or a bit more like that. And you just need to find out what that is for your current level on the specific day, because that will change slightly day to day depending on how your natural mobility is. The same with your strength. I know that I can do 10 plus handstand push-ups, so doing 1 or 2 handstand push-ups on any day of the week is a given. But if I only have 1 handstand push-up on a good day, I can't rely on that strength all the time because certain days it's not going to be there. But hopefully this has highlighted how important it is to work both strength and handstand efficiency balance and combine them together into your practice. It obviously depends on what your goals are, but I'd highly recommend that you're training a bit of both. If you're after help with your training, check out my online coaching options and my app. Stick any questions down below and I'll speak to you guys in the next one.